Listen, in the high-stakes game of commercial real estate, a single empty room can cost you $700,000 in an instant. This is the Radcliffe. Built in 1880, it sits in the downtown core of Corvallis, Oregon. It's a mixed-use property, holding 10 residential multifamily units on the upper floors and 3 retail and office spaces on the ground level. The sellers listed it for $2 million. Corvallis is home to Oregon State University and ranks as a highly rent-burdened market. With a walk score of 91, this property is perfectly positioned to capture reliable foot traffic and tenant demand. The sellers of this building are elite real estate operators. Historically, they built their massive portfolio by quietly acquiring properties through private networks and off-market deals. But when it came time to sell the Radcliffe, they explicitly abandoned those private channels. They chose to list the property publicly on the open market. This chart illustrates the logic behind that pivot. Data shows that cooperative, open market sales consistently yield prices 9.6% higher than off-market transactions. Exposing an asset to the maximum number of brokers and buyers creates competition. That competition mathematically forces the final sale price upward. The strategy delivered. The open market exposure quickly surfaced a buyer willing to pay the full $2 million asking price, moving the deal steadily toward closing. Smart operators buy in the shadows to secure a discount. They sell in the sunlight to maximize their returns. Then, as the deal neared the finish line, a crucial anchor tenant, the downstairs property manager, suddenly announced they were vacating the building. To understand why this single vacancy derails a transaction, you have to look at how commercial buildings are valued. Unlike residential homes, a commercial property's price is dictated almost entirely by its net operating income, or NOI, the total revenue minus operating expenses. This diagram shows the specific financials of the Radcliffe prior to the vacancy. A healthy NOI of $117,758 acts as the foundational block, supporting the massive $2 million valuation based on current capitalization rates. When that tenant packed up, 20% of that foundational income block vanished. Because of how commercial cap rates multiply income, a 20% drop in monthly cash flow triggers a catastrophic $700,000 plunge in the building's overall equity. In the commercial sector, an empty room is an immediate, mathematically compounded threat to the asset's value. The real-world fallout was immediate. The buyer's lender reviewed the new, gutted rent roll and refused to underwrite a $2 million loan for a compromised asset. The standard industry reaction to this problem is predictable. The buyer demands a massive price concession from the seller to match the newly lowered valuation. The seller absolutely refused to concede $700,000. Accepting a massive discount would destroy the entire purpose of their open market pricing strategy. The transaction hit total deadlock. The seller wouldn't drop the price, the buyer wouldn't overpay, and the bank wouldn't fund it. The $2 million deal was dead. Traditional, reactive brokerage tactics fail in this scenario. Saving the deal required abandoning passive price negotiations for active financial engineering. To bypass the stalemate, the listing broker proposed a proactive solution, the creation of a specialized escrow holdback account. This diagram details the exact mechanics of the maneuver. The broker carved out 2 years' worth of the missing tenant's rent directly from the seller's final proceeds, locking those funds into an untouchable side account. To the bank's underwriting software, this guaranteed, locked cash pool acts as a flawless phantom lease, eliminating the lender's risk entirely. The upside for the seller is built into the timeline. The moment a new commercial tenant signs a lease, the remaining cash in the holdback account is instantly unlocked and returned directly to the seller. The outcome was seamless. The lender approved the commercial loan, the buyer closed the purchase, and the seller successfully defended their hard-won $2 million valuation. This maneuver stopped a $700,000 bleed. It reframed a permanent loss of asset value into a temporary cash flow timing problem. The Radcliffe transaction ultimately proves 2 rules about surviving high-stakes commercial real estate deals. First, you must expose the asset to the entire open market to establish the absolute highest pricing ceiling. Second, you must possess the proactive financial creativity to defend that pricing ceiling when real-world disasters inevitably strike. Success in this sector depends on the invisible strategic architecture built to protect an asset, rather than the simple ownership of historic bricks and mortar.